แชร์สกรีนแล้วกันเนาะสองฮัลโหลสวัสดีครับอ่ะมามาเดี๋ยวนะสักครู่นะ
อ๋อพี่โดโดสวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับโอเคall right so I think we have to see this one right จุดหนึ่ง
อ่า
จุดสอ
ใช่
งใช่ไหมใช่ปะ Okay, that's correct. เริ่มเลยแล้วกันนะฮะ All right, so can we start for two first questions here, right? Number one and two first. We can start from number one first. All right, so this one is a little bit detailed here. Many people feel that the use of surveillance cameras mhm, in public places actually is good, right? Such as a parking lot is a good idea, can help ensure our safety, right? And others worry that, um, how can I say, right? Too many cameras violate our right to privacy and give law enforcement officials too much power. So they try to convince or giving the idea that it might cause a personal space, personal right, or the right of privacy, things like that, right? And in your opinion, should we install more civilian camera in the public places? Why not? Support your position and okay. I would say that you can think of the possibility in our Bangkok context. I mean, especially for a city or downtown area, right? I would say that it happens to city that are crowded. People may have a different, action toward, bad behavior or even like criminals here. So it is very important to say that surveillance camera here might be offering such a public spaces or even keep a privacy to protect our, protection actually, right? Things like that. But anyway, in terms of a privacy or right of human, I mean, human right, I can say, and what is going on with that? Is there any example that you can mention that it might cause lots of problems if we have law enforcement here, right? Okay, I'm going to give you for 5 minutes here, and if ready, just talk. Okay, yeah.
โอเค In my opinion, I think that we should install more surveillance cameras in public place. Um, I think that if possible, we should install surveillance cameras at everywhere in the public place. This is because installing surveillance camera can make people fear more about the law and they will not be able to do something that is breaking the law easily, like maybe parking at the wrong place or something like this. Because um, even though there may not be police allowed at that time, but they can still check at CCTV and they will maybe send some bill to the one who break the law in their house, something like this. And about about people who care about their privacy, I think that safety come first. I think that it is better to think that safety come first, and I mean like the there are nothing to there are nothing to hide at the public place, because even though there may not be surveillance camera, people will still see what you do at the public place. Maybe people that is in that place, at the time, but just putting CCTV to it, which only make people like can watch a record of what you do at the public place. So and I don't think that is that much concern, because people people will tend to do something that they may not want to show to the public at their house or their something like private zone.
I see.
So I think that although it may violate some right of privacy, but safety come first.
All right, I do agree with you, just because I think that the safety must be prioritized as the first core consideration, right? Just because I do understand that to some people, to some extent, it can be possible that it may penetrate, or even something that is violence to a privacy, or even it might across the line of privacy, just because it's about the surveillance something here. But if we look at just only for the importance of safety, right? Regarding to you mentioned here, I would say that it is important to set the first priority for safety first, and then we can see that it may, I would say that if we can save our life at that time, I mean, just prevent or protect something there, right? Other people can can feel safe. So I would say that it is very important that we can just ignore for the privacy here, just because it doesn't turn out to be more and more serious consequences, I can say. So great. Thank you so much for your sharing here. Next, please. Okay, look at for the second question here. It has often been said, a little knowledge is a very dangerous thing. I agree with that. Do you agree or disagree with that, and why not? Use specific reason and example to explain your answer. I would say that you can come up with a possible scenario or situation that can be your own personal experiences, or even what do you think that if you don't know something and then it happened to your life, what would it be to solve the problem? Or even some kind of this one might be you have to talk about the previous action, or even let's say like some root cause that happened without nothing on that case. For example, like if you did something bad just because you didn't know, in terms of law or legalization, I would say that we cannot even claim that we know nothing just because we did something wrong. Is that right? So in this case, for example, like you can involve with the situation in the hospital if you can imagine that what is going on with that, right? And then try to give a clear example here. All right. I think you have a time for 5 minutes to prepare a bit and then just turn on the microphone here. Okay. Yeah.
โอเค Um, to me, I think that a little knowledge itself isn't that much dangerous, but I think what is dangerous is that um that person know or not that they have a little knowledge in something. Um, um, for example, like when someone is is drawn and gets saved by other people um and he appear to have stopped breathing and need to do CPR. Um, I think that even though some people in them don't have knowledge in CPR, um, um, that isn't that much dangerous because if they know that they don't have a knowledge in this field of area, they will just not not do a CPR to the patient and let other do it. So and I believe that in if we live in a crowd, I I believe that it will not be so unlucky that there will not be single people who know how to do that. Yeah, so I think that even though you don't know CPR, but if you know that you don't know how to do it, I think it's okay. But I think what is the problem is that when you have a long knowledge about CPR and you appear to think that you know fully about CPR and you can save people, I think that is dangerous because you will volunteer to do it for them, and if you do it wrongly and maybe some unluck some less of luck, the patient may die because of you. Yeah. So I think that
Okay, go ahead.
so I think that a little knowledge itself isn't dangerous, but what is dangerous is that whether people who have a little knowledge know that they have a little knowledge or not.
Meaning that we have to realize that what we know, right, even it's less or more.
Yes,
As you
that is my
mentioned
point.
here, yeah, for example, like in the I mean, in the medical practices, right, or even like professional setting in hospital. So once you get to know how to do, or even once you get to know, for example, like you mentioned CPR, right, and then you know already that what is going on, what you have to do with the patient, and then it may turn to be a negative consequences if we know and cannot do properly. Am I right?
Yes, that's my point.
I see. All right. So meaning that it means that we have to make sure that what we know can be put into practice as well. Am I right?
Yes.
I see. So meaning that if those people don't have any knowledge or less likely to know or understand something, it's fine for them just because, but they have to realize or accept what they don't know and then just, inform us what they cannot do or even can do, right? Just because this is an easy way to straightforward or even like to be sincere once you have zero knowledge on it. Am I right? Things
Yes,
like
that is
that.
my point.
Right. Thank you so much for your sharing here. I think it's good, but for some time, I can see that a little knowledge is dangerous thing is a common, right? But when it comes to a professional, I think it is a must for people who are working in a professional way have to deal with their enough knowledge in order to make sure that they can do a task or responsibility in that way properly, right? But sometimes like what we have to realize is that once we got little knowledge that is happen to I mean face to the reality in our daily life, for example, like those people who didn't have any much more information about consuming such supplement, and then just like eating or always eating, but sometimes like I would say that it may cause problems. For example, like side effect or even interaction or what's going on with that. Is that right? I'm not sure, but I think if those people just thinking that it may affect to their life just because they can be, I mean, obviously seen that the effect of that in a positive way, but on the other hand, I would say that it may cause problems as well too. So this one would be like it refers to a little knowledge may cause a dangerous thing to my understanding here, right? But anyway, it's okay, right? Just because if we know a little, just accept it, and then we can keep learning and then knowing more and more. It might be okay. I mean, it might be acceptable too, right? Great. Thank you so much for your sharing here. Moving to next. All right. So for this one, right, recent studies have shown that students often perform better on exam, right? Meaning that written exams, right, is classical music. Is played softly in the background. Mm-hmm. It's possible to some extent just because some research have shown that if you listen some soft song, right, it may increase your concentration while doing the exam, right? However, some students may find that music distracting. Should school play classical music during exam and allow students to listen to it on headphones? Take your position and explain the answer. I understand that for this question, you have to mention if you cheer up for, if you are supporting to the music, right? Classical music can help a student to have more concentration or focus on it, right? And but if you disagree, you have to say that it is disturbing you or not, or it may find that uninterested to these people or to the students just because it is a very important day for the exam, right? It may lose concentration too. So you can say between the two and then just explain a little bit more, right? Okay, I think you have to prepare a bit. Okay.
โอเค To me, I think that there is no necessary for schools to play classical music during exams or allow students to listen to it on headphone um during because the the reason that many research show that opening classical music can help students do exam better is because when they open a classical music during the time that student um during the student prepare for exam, like when they study for exam and they play classical music, some people will have more concentration to the books, and I mean like they can focus more on on the lesson that they study. Um, in other words, opening classical music is like to reduce the distraction of other things that may be interest for the students. But I think that in exam it is a different case because um I mean like every student should focus on exam by themselves, and they don't need to have music in order for them to focus, because I think that I think that is common sense, yeah. And and some people may even think that the classical music itself is distracting because like the brain pattern of everyone is different to each other. So um although it is true that some may think that it improves concentration, but there are some who get annoyed by it. So I think that and and I try to study about this field for about months ago, and what I conclude is that there is no specific evidence in scientific
So what did you
evidence.
study? What is the title? I mean, what is the problem that you want to study there?
It is about neuroscience. Like it
The
is,
brain, right?
yeah,
Okay.
learn about the brain, and there is some topic that talk about this too. Yeah. And I'm the reason that many scientists think that opening classical music can improve brain function is because when our brain concentrate to something, it release the sound wave that is like same as the classical music, yeah. But listening to the classical music itself doesn't um doesn't have evidence to improve this concentration. Like I mean, it is something that the brain should produce it in order to concentrate, not something that we can add we can add normally, yeah.
So meaning that there is no connection between soft music or classical music that can improve our concentration, our brain, right? So we need to, I mean, we need to train our focus by ourselves. It doesn't mean that we can add external factor and then see what is going on with that. Is that right?
Yes, that is my point.
I see. And then meaning that for this topic, just because I don't think that it makes sense for this topic too, just because when it comes to a final exam or even an exam, taking the exam on reality, we have the rules and regulation to not allow people to, wearing any headphones or anything like that.
Yeah.
Even open up the listening section, it doesn't mean that it can be added for classical music too, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that any real. I do understand that for some kind of like maybe previous research have done that if we stimulate music with a classical music, it may it may happen to a brain neuron or even like the movement of that brain, and then it can be ease or comfortable in that way. Is that right? So
Yes.
but you just mentioned that there is no correlation with that, am I right? So
There there is no causation that why why listening to classical music the can improve the concentration, but
the focus.
there has been some study that show correlation, and there is also some study that argue this statement.
So it's
So
not it's
so it isn't
inconclusive,
conclude.
I can say, right? It
Yes.
cannot be summarized that it might have potential impact toward brain neurology that you mentioned here, or whatever can relate to the way that we provide some classical music, and then see what is correlation between the two here, right? Great, thank you so much for your sharing here. I have this is a new information for me, just because I do understand that music can help focus or even concentration, but now we have to see that what is going on is next, right? Okay, right. So we have come to the last question for today. All across the country, state laws require driver to wear seat belt. So we talk about driving, right? Especially for a car or big car here. Not everyone believes the use of seat belt should be mandatory, or is it not required to do so? What do you think, and make a case for and against mandatory seat belt use? To me, I don't think that it can be ignored for wear seatbelt here, just because I have to say that I'm kind of a person who focus on safety first. Is that right? So we have to prioritize on safety here. I think you can see what you can raise the example of the dangerous thing that can happen here once people don't have any realization to what seatbelt have to be required, right, while driving here, right? Okay, I'm going to give you 5 minutes if you're ready. Just turn on the microphone here. Yep.
Okay. I think that it is good thing to make a law that require driver to wear seatbelt. Like I think that it is the best for the driver themselves that they should wear a seatbelt because um just wearing a seatbelt take time less than 10 seconds and you can be more you can be safer than not wearing seatbelt a lot and when it comes to the accident that maybe happen during the road um wearing a seatbelt can minimize the damage a lot and yeah it is a good thing because the accident the in the road usually involve a spinal cord injury, yeah, which is something that is irreparable. Like you can see in many news that some people have car accident and they need to stay on wheelchair for the rest of their life. Yeah, so
So it doesn't work, right? Okay.
so
It doesn't work to to ignore just a second to wear seatbelt, and then you have to
yeah,
pretend your long life with I can say that with not fulfill what you can do, right, for the rest of your life. Yeah. Great. So you just support that it is important to strictly require for a driver to wear seatbelt here just because it may prevent them from any accidents, right?
yes, that's my point.
Okay, great. I think so just because when it comes to an accident, so you are a professional doctor. If you working at the emergency unit, right, you can see lots of how can I say, lots of patients just because they drive, right, and drunk and drive, and what is going on is that it happens to an accident and they have to go to hospital. To me, I would say that it's hard to just because when it comes to saying something about the date or the illness or the broken things that happen to the emergency unit, so it's related to any responsibility that we have to deal with altogether. So it doesn't mean that it just only a story of that person, but it relate to other people too. So what I want to say here is that it is very important to impose such a law for wearing seat belt, and then we can see what is going on. At least we can prevent it from the bad consequences, right? Thank you so much for your sharing here. ไงบ้างวันนี้ดีขึ้นวันนี้ผมโอเคนะใช่ไหม
ครับ
แฮปปี้ไหมfluency เป็นยังไงบ้างได้อยู่
ก็คิดว่าดีขึ้นนะครับอาจจะมีติดขัดบ้างแต่ว่าก็พยายามพูดให้แบบได้เยอะขึ้นนะ
ได้นะครับพี่ก็โอเคนะครับaccuracy แหละครับลองพยายาม reflect ตัวเองนะฮะ
ก็ accuracy คิดว่าช่วงหลังก็เริ่มระวังมากขึ้นแล้วนะครับ
ใช่เหนื่อยแบบยากไหมในเรื่องของระวัง accuracy พี่ต้องตามเราหมายถึงว่าเราต้องคิดไหมฮะหรือว่ายังไง
อะไรนะครับเมื่อ
หมายถึง
กี้เสียง
ว่าพอเราsorry พอเราโฟกัสเรื่อง grammar หรือว่าเรื่อง accuracy เรื่องการพูดให้มันเป๊ะ grammar เนี่ยเรารู้สึกว่ามันยากไหมสำหรับเรา
รู้สึกว่าก็เหมือนมันจะไป
โอเค
ลด fluency นิดนึงแต่ว่า
ใช่
ก็
ใช่
พยายาม
เพราะฉะนั้น
ลด
เนี่ยผมต้องเลือกอันนี้คือ point ก็คือว่าพี่พยายาม develop ให้เราพูดไปก่อนเพราะเป็นปัญหาของเด็กส่วนใหญ่เนี่ยจะไม่ค่อย flow ก่อนถูกไหมฮะแล้วก็พอผมมั่นใจขึ้นหรือว่า confidence มาอะไรอย่างเงี้ยมันจะพูดได้อยู่แล้วแต่ว่ามันจะพูดผิดแค่นั้นเองเพราะฉะนั้นเราก็มานั่ง correct มันเป็น process นะเพราะว่ามันถึงได้ takes time นะฮะอันนี้คือให้เข้าใจก่อนว่าแบบเราต้อง run fluency ขึ้นก่อนแล้วหลังจากนั้นเนี่ยผมไปเก็บ เขาเรียกว่าไปดูเรื่อง grammar accuracy หรือว่า word choice ที่เราจำเป็นต้องใช้แล้วก็พอเราผ่านการฟังไปสักพักหนึ่งเนี่ยผมจะจำได้ว่า pronunciation หรือว่าการออกเสียงมันเป็นยังไงเพราะฉะนั้น pronunciation เนี่ยเดี๋ยวนี้มันจะมี variation ของภาษาอังกฤษแต่พี่จะพยายามให้เราฝึกในเรื่องของ standard English นะครับซึ่งเป็นอเมริกันก็ได้ British ก็ได้แล้วแต่ที่เราเลือกเพราะว่าท้ายที่สุดแล้วเนี่ย variation เนี่ยมันใช้ไม่ได้ใน professional นึกภาพออกไหมคือมันใช้ได้ในแง่ของ communication ทั่วไปเฉยแต่ถ้าเกิดว่าเราต้องการทำงานในลักษณะของprofessional และกันเนี่ยไอมองว่าการพูดภาษาอังกฤษลักษณะ business หรือว่าinstitution อาจารย์มหาวิทยาลัยหรือว่าหมออะไรก็ตามแต่ที่ทำ conference เนี่ยจำเป็นต้องใช้สำเนียงที่เป็น standard ก็คือ American ครับ British อะไรกันเดี๋ยวเข้ามาว่ากันนะครับตามนั้น thank you so much for today see you นะฮะเดี๋ยวเจอกันนะครับวิกหน้าเนาะครับสวัสดีครับบ๊ายบายครับ
เยอะสวัสดีครับ
ครับผม